Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another Disc Ultra Confusion Thursday night hangout. Zealeus.
Yo, what is up, Mr. Ultra Confusion himself?
Ladies and gentlemen, of course, I am your host, Charlie, and I'm joined once again by the prolific Connor himself, Zealeus.
Greetings and salutations.
Yes. You may notice that my background is a little bit lighter than usual. I found these like glow lights that I was supposed to put up for doing streams, and I just found them. So, huzzah!
Nice.
Hooray. Anyway, so ladies and gentlemen, this, of course, is the Thursday Night Hangout. It's a live show where we try our best to cover the topics most important to you during the show. At any point during the show, if you have any topics, questions, comments, concerns, criticisms, or you just like typing, you could do so into the chat, be it on Facebook, on Twitch, or on YouTube. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let us get into the show. And speaking of shows, let's start off with the brand new Amazon Prime show that's based off a video game. You may know it as Fallout. That's right, ladies and gentlemen.
What are we calling?
Fallout is finally out. Well, actually, it was supposed to be at the end of the month, and then Amazon Prime got really excited and pushed it up a week. And then they got super duper excited. And we're like, let's renew it for a second season before anyone sees it. And then they're like, well, screw it. Let's just have people see it then. So it's available for anyone who's got Amazon Prime. You can start watching the Fallout series today.
So have you watched any of it?
Yes, I watched the first episode. And I have to say that it definitely screams Fallout. I'll be very interested to see where it goes. I don't want to give anything away, but they basically have right now they have 3 main storylines going, or I guess 3 character arcs going that I'm sure at some point we're gonna come together.
Well, I'm probably one of the few video gamers who has not really played Fallout. So, as far as following the video game, which from what I've read, apparently the game or the movie does follow the video game in a pretty good way.
Well, I mean, they do start in the vault, and there was a nuclear bomb that went off, and there are people who were able to get into vaults, and there were people who had to just suffer it and try to survive up on top after the nuclear fallout. Fallout, which is why that's why it's called. Yeah.
I'd say it will be on my list to watch.
There's so many shows on my list right now, but I will try to continue to watch that series to see where it goes. I'm very interested about one of the characters, but we'll see.
Nice.
Yes. All right. Speaking of TV shows, let's talk about the fact that there is, the unfortunate passing of the manga artist behind Dragonball Z. And he did have a show that he helped create called Sandland. Now, if you have Hulu, the dubbed version of at least the first 7 or 8 episodes is now up on Hulu. So you don't have to go the subbed route if you don't want to. But that's available. But also, breaking news, there is going to be a Dragon Ball Z theme park in Saudi Arabia.
Wait, in Saudi Arabia?
It is going to be 500,000 square meters, featuring 7 different areas that recreate various iconic locales from the original series. So I guess, yeah, it goes, at this park, visitors will be able to join an adventure with Goku and pals as they enjoy the world of Dragon Ball from the very beginning of the anime all the way up through Dragon Ball Super.
Saudi Arabia would not have been my first pick to go for a theme park.
Agreed. But, that being said, I just want to make sure Yeah, that's apparently where it says it's for now.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to draw me quite to the Middle East.
Yeah. There will be over 30 attractions at this theme park, which, to be honest, I think would be really cool to see. But I don't think I would travel that far for a theme park.
I still personally want to go to Hogwarts and go get a butterbeer from Hogsmeade.
Ah, yes, and I would.
That is the list.
I would, I don't know what I would do there. To be totally honest with you. Just wait until it's trivia. Just wait until it's Harry Potter trivia night at Battle and Brew. Then you can get yourself a butterbeer.
I don't know if they've had one since that one.
That night was nuts.
I think it was the busiest B&B's ever been was that night.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw, but their Marietta location, or I know it's Marietta, but their Battery location opened up.
Yep. I need to get over there to check it out.
Indeed. Maybe an Ultimate Fusion future.
Yes. Yes. Okay, so speaking of Ultra Confusion future, I know that if you were following on social media this past week, I did reveal some sad news. We were going to have a panel, but somehow none of the emails that asked for verification of time and place, date and time, actually got to me. Only the email rescinding the offer for us to host a panel was actually received to my email account. So we will not be doing video game change for the good ? At MomoCon because my email address or my inbox decided to screw everything up. So Ultra Confusion
technology should you be smarter than that?
I know. So Ultra Confusion will only be there as media. Remember that this year's MomoCon is a little different than in previous MomoCons. It's going to be Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday instead of the usual Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. But hopefully I will see plenty of people out. I know that Noodle Boy Media is not going to be there, and I just found out today that Hero Chiropractic will also not be there. So 2 of our good buddies that we always hang out with will unfortunately be absent.
The good people not being there, that is very sad.
Indeed. Now, let's talk about some exciting news instead of sad news. How about that? There is a rumor that's going around right now that there is currently in the works a live action rated R Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie in the works.
Yes. Violence. I want to see lots and lots of maiming and shredding of things.
To be honest with you, I would be down to see like a darker side of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Yes, it's kind of fun that they have their goofiness, but that's not to say that you can't still have, that campy goofiness of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. But it would be interesting to see them, like, I don't know, like actually more violent and maybe actually use their weapons. Because if you notice, they in like the early movies and the TV show, they very rarely actually used their weapons. It was more like karate.
I could see Leonardo like chop somebody's head off, like how Angel actually stabs people and actually see like blood gush out. Nunchucks actually like fracture arms and you see like an elbow splinter out as it comes out, and then the bow staff crumples somebody's skull. I think it's like an explosion happens.
Just makes their knees explode.
Ooh, I will exploding knees. That's tense.
And for Raphael, I'd say that he stabs the size right through, like right in like the shoulders to pin someone to the wall.
And then Shredder can be like super dark and like slice and dice like good people, protagonisty people, and like really give them the business.
That would be something. I don't know. I'd be down for that. But then again, I don't know. I think that there's there's definitely quite a few cartoons, like kid cartoons, that I would love to see be, a rated R version, just to see what it would be. And I think Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles would be an interesting one. He-Man would be a good one too, I think, in my honest opinion.
I can see that.
I had another one on the tip of my tongue. Now I can't remember what it is.
My Little Pony.
No, My Little Pony, R-rated My Little Pony. I don't know. I can't see.
It might have a furry bent to it, if you know what I mean.
I guess, gratuitous sex scenes. That's just weird. That would ruin a lot of people's childhoods. No, I think, damn it. I keep having this one that keeps popping in my head, and then as soon as I open my, how about a rated R G.I. Joe? As my voice cracks.
Well, you had at least one X-Men, and it worked out really well.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying is, like, if when it comes to, like, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, to keeping some of the campiness, I mean, look at Deadpool. Deadpool's rated R. He keeps a shit ton of campiness and silly goofiness and gratuitous violence. Speaking of gratuitous violence, if you have access to Adult Swim in any shape or form, I highly recommend that you check out Ninja Kamui, which is an amazing anime with a killer opening theme song by the group Cold Rain. And it is lots of violence, and it's ninjas and technology and revenge, all wrapped up into a nice little present for everyone.
That's like the perfect kind of anime.
It is phenomenal. And if you have Crunchyroll and you're looking for, that kind of the same. Well, I don't know about revenge, but definitely lots of battling and violence. You got to go with solo leveling.
Is that good? I see that. It's like, because it's always like on the front page of my Crunchyroll page. It's like, go watch Solo Leveling.
It's good. I actually got, I think I already said this on a previous episode, but I got into the graphic novels, the manga, whatever you want to call it, of Solo Leveling, and I was like, man, this would make an amazing anime. And then Crunchyroll goes, we're making an anime. Speaking of Crunchyroll and animes, though, another manga that I got into that I was like, man, this would be great if they actually made it. And I think the reason why they made this anime is kind of in part because of the new resurgence in all of the fandom and excitement around the Godzilla movies. There is a TV show that's actually coming out starting, I think it's tomorrow night. I think it's when it drops. Or no, in 2 days, sorry. So Saturday. Saturday it will drop. It is a show called Kaiju Number 8.
Interesting.
And it centers around an individual who is on the kaiju cleanup crew. Those wonderful individuals that after the heroes kill the rampaging kaiju running through whatever area of the town, you have these people who come in and clean up and harvest the organs and all that jazz.
You saw a little bit of that in Pacific Rim.
Yep, that's true. That's very true.
So the funny thing about Crunchyroll, because when I watch anime, this is just me. I want to watch like the goriest violences, like anime, because you can't really watch too many shows of just like over the top violence. So it's like anime is an easy way to get that content. But I found that there seems to be like a correlation between we can have over the top violence. You know what that also means? We need over-the-top sex and other things going into it also.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you're going to open up Pandora's box, you got to let everything out.
That's exactly what I've noticed. Like, all the super violent ones I've seen are also like, I need to close my blinds.
Yeah, that's true. There's one anime that, what is it called? Goblin Slayer, that you definitely can only watch with mature audience. Definitely not something to put on with kids potentially walking around the house.
Yeah, I would definitely say so. I've seen the first season of it.
Mhm.
I mean, it's entertaining, definitely entertaining anime. There's the one I watched. I'm trying to remember what it is. It was my history. That's also a good violent
Mhm.
one, but freezing is another one.
Yes.
But again, it's just like, oh, okay, well
Yep.
then.
Yep. Yep. Okay,
Yeah.
so speaking of Crunchyrolls, you might remember, I believe it was maybe late last year, or maybe early this year, that Crunchyroll and Funimation were coming together to coexist, as it were, to
Yes, I do
merge.
remember that.
Now, of course, it's been many months since that announcement, and there are Funimation anime that is on Crunchyroll now, but unfortunately, the last report is that there's over 190 anime that was on Funimation that has not made the transition over to Crunchyroll, which is kind of weird to me. Maybe it's just sitting on different servers and they have to, like, I don't know, physically transfer the servers, but it's not like Crunchyroll added, like, they don't have like their own little. Actually, you know what? It's probably the opposite. Funimation is notorious for throwing a Funimation kind of like visual screen up and before all of their that they show all their anime. So I wonder if it's just the process of having to remove that from every single anime before they can show it on Crunchyroll. But anyways, there's over 190 anime that still is not available on Crunchyroll. Some of them are very good animes, but you just have to, fingers crossed, just wait because it's just not there yet.
Did they say, like, are they bringing them all over? It's just taking more time than we might like.
So, from my understanding, there hasn't been the 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 statement that was originally said is that now you can find all of your favorite anime from Crunchyroll and Funimation in one place. Now, does that actually translate into everything that Funimation had Crunchyroll is going to show? Maybe. It's open to interpretation. But I'm assuming,
I
I'm
guess
hoping.
there's licensing potentially, who knows, issues.
Yeah, I'm hoping that it transitions everything over. But then again, like I need to watch more anime. Oh my god, I got a problem.
Don't we all? Some have anime problems. Some have, it's kind of the old story of, like, growing up. Sometimes some sets of parents, not to name parents, might sit down and watch like an hour or two of, let's just say, like NCIS and CSI. And then you're in the background playing video games. And it's like, what are you doing? Wasting all your time playing video games. And it's like, you're wasting your time watching TV. I don't know what the difference is.
Yep.
Different forms of entertainment.
Yeah, but the problem for me is that if I like, oh, look, this seems like an interesting anime, I'll watch an episode. And if it's good, the next thing I know, it's like, would you like to watch episode 9?
You can't have just one episode.
Yeah.
But they're also usually like 23 minutes. And then there's the credits. And then the post-scene, which means it's actually like 18 minutes. So, it's manageable.
Yeah, I can get through just a couple episodes. It's not going to ruin oh my god, I just watched the entire anime.
Those are educational purposes.
I've done that many times.
Understandable.
Okay, so for those out there who have still play on your Nintendo 3DS, or if you want to go really not ancient, because it's about the same, I think. If you still play on your Wii U, you may notice that your online connectivity is now gone. There was actually a TikToker who was live streaming as the time was cutting out, and they were in the middle of a Mario Kart race on their 3DS, and then all of a sudden it went boop, connection lost. Oh. So it wasn't one of those, you keep going as long as you're still connected. They hard shut that shit down.
But it's been a known thing. It's not like it was a surprise.
Oh yeah, no, yeah. It was. I mean, it was very obvious that they were sunsetting that stuff. I mean, they're already talking about the Switch 2. So
Yeah.
the 3DS and the Wii U are way in the background now.
So speaking of Nintendo, so with iOS, Apple's phone, they are going to loosen up. We don't know what that means, right? But they're going to loosen up the ability to install emulating video game software. Like right now, it's no. And they released a policy. This also goes with the whole like separate app store thing, where you'll be able to basically, have emulated video game systems on there. And so we got into a little bit of discussion at work about that. And a lot of people seem to think that this is going to be the push for Nintendo to finally release some kind of emulated store on the iPhone to make it official, with the idea being like, well, you can do people can load their own emulator, so you might as well do it for real. And I want to get your take, but my take on it at least is it's going to be the situation where the instant somebody uploads an emulator that points to any kind of Nintendo ROM or anything, Nintendo's going to be like, I can't do that. And Apple's, of course, going to say yes. So those are going to shut down immediately. But the idea, I think, more to the point of Nintendo wanting to put some kind of software simulation online, I think is still a very far-fetched cry. Not because of technology, but just because that is not Nintendo's MO. Like, Nintendo does not like doing those type of things. They like their own closed ecosystem on their own proprietary hardware running their stuff. Like, you look at their history, and they've just never been a company to me that screams, oh yeah, now that it's happening, they're all suddenly going to be like, you know what? You're right. We should release our old games on the phones. I just don't see that happening. So I want to see what you kind of thought of that situation.
Well, I think one, I don't think that Nintendo would have like, kind of like the Nintendo Store on your Apple device, where you can download Nintendo games and play it through the emulator. I don't think they would ever do that. I think that they are very, very selective about what games go on to the mobile devices. They are, there's a couple of Nintendo games that have made it onto a mobile device, but I don't see like them opening some way to have an emulator. First of all, you're basically, you've got the Switch. It's a handheld mobile. Yes, is it? Well, I would say that is it bigger than your phone? Probably, but then there are those people who have gigantic ass phones now because the screen's too small. So, but no, I don't think Nintendo would bite at that. I think that Nintendo likes the way the Nintendo does things, and so Nintendo will continue to do Nintendo things. That's how Nintendo rolls. Let's see if I can say Nintendo a couple more times, because Nintendo.
Now with Nintendo, do you think the Nintendo Switch 2 is just going to be a iterative design and not anything actually substantially different? Or is it going to actually like throw us a total curve, and the Switch 2 is I'm just making it up. Yeah. It's really a VR headset, and nobody saw that coming.
I think because Nintendo has kind of I don't think that they would go VR headset.
I didn't mean VR specifically. I think something out of left field we didn't see coming.
I think I to be in my honest opinion, I think that we're going to get like a more powerful, more souped up Switch. It's going to be the Wii and the Wii U, but hopefully not that terrible of that crappy of a difference. I would be very interested to see their take on, do they keep with those joypads, the Joy-Cons, or are they going to do something different? Because my Joy-Cons, I'm just regular gaming on it, and some of them are starting to act a little weird. Thankfully, I have 4 of them, because Mario Party only you could play up to 4 players, I think, on
Yeah.
Mario Party. However, each one has to have its own Joy-Con, which is bullshit because I have 4 Pro controllers that I was like, oh, we'll just do it that way because the Pro controllers also have the gyro and rumble and all that shit. But no, you have to have the Joy-Cons in order to play Mario Party.
You can't use the Pro Controller at
Nope.
all?
Not at all.
That's just dumb.
Yes, I totally agree. Totally agree. I got so excited because I was like, all right, boys, we're going to sit down because I got it one day just on a whim. I got it for the boys for a change of pace. And then I found out that only me and one person could play because at the time we only had 2 Joy-Cons.
That's so silly.
Yes, very silly.
I will say that, I mean, don't get me wrong, that's dumb.
Yeah.
What was also nice is like, I was on vacation a couple of years ago. All we needed was 2 Switches, ergo 4 Joy-Cons, and we could all jump together playing Mario Kart.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Without also having to bring, 4 honking Pro controllers. Yep. So technical stupidity, like you mentioned aside, I also do see their use. Yeah, because I don't see Nintendo just being like, I mean, my thought is it's going to be an upgraded Switch. It's going to be.
Yeah.
I don't see them literally just being like, here's the same hardware with a better chip.
Right.
Like, it's going to be something else. They'll also improve it, like, from a functional design perspective. That's kind of what I'm curious to see how that happens.
Yeah, I think that you're going to just see a more powerful Switch with a couple more bells and whistles underneath there. Maybe, a couple redesigns, maybe a slightly bigger screen. But
I can see them all being OLED out of the cage.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a given.
Yeah. That'd be pretty.
Yeah, VAR party. But yeah. Okay.
We still have cartridges.
What are you gonna? How big of an upgrade are you gonna do for the memory, the internal memory?
I don't know. I mean, I'm just wondering if they're just gonna have, a digital, or maybe maybe they have like kind of like the PS5, where it's a digital only version or a console or a disc version. Although it's a whole lot different with a handheld device versus a console.
Yeah. I think if you're gonna go, if you're going the option of cartridge-less, it's kind of that right now. I mean,
Steam Deck.
That's true.
I mean, they do it, but they also allow you to upgrade your SSD. I think.
Do they? I thought that people were like modding it and like burning out their Steam Decks.
Well, let's be honest. Regardless of like official upgrade capabilities, everyone's getting people. Yeah. Let's see. Upgrade SSD.
There's going SSD card.
Yep. You can upgrade the SSD.
Yeah.
Yeah. But again, that would also be a very that'd be a very Nintendo move to not allow that at the same time. Like, that's just Nintendo's history. They'd be like, nope, can't upgrade it. You must use the old school SD card instead. But we shall see.
Indeed. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to pause real quick to thank the individuals who help Alta Confusion be the Alta Confusion that you love and adore. And these, of course, are the friends of the show. So let's start it off with the Indie Cluster. The Indie Cluster is an organization of independent game developers that want to gain exposure by being involved in the community. They collectively journey to popular conferences and traveling booth to help gain attention for their games. They make partnerships in local communities to bring games to the mainstream mindset. They highlight local, unusual, and rare concepts that challenge the paradigm of the common. They also host events to teach kids and minority groups about game development to hopefully one day enter the industry themselves. For more information, go to indiecluster.com. The next shout out we got to give is to the AV master himself. That, of course, is Noodle Boy Media. Founded in 2015 by Andrew Tran, Noodle Boy Media, previously White Kid 47 Media, it's your choice for professional photo shoots and panel recordings at conventions. They pride themselves in providing a high level of professionalism, top-notch experiences, and quality services. If you want more information and to view their full list of services, check out Facebook.com/NoodleBoyMedia. Now, this individual, the next one, was actually here today to help ease some of those aches and pains from way too long gaming sessions in IRL and with Joy-Con and mouse and keyboard. That, of course, is Hero Chiropractic. Hero Chiropractic's unique healthcare practice set up by Ryan Moore, the company's focus to elevate a patient's experience of freedom, creative expression, and joy. They believe that everyone can be a hero and has incredible heroic potential inside themselves waiting to be unleashed. Hero Chiropractic focuses on mobile chiropractic care in the Greater Atlanta area. They're committed to healing clients by creating a plan of action uniquely suited for each person. They make that plan of action as convenient and affordable as possible, and most importantly, suited to your individual needs. For more information, go to herochiropractic.com. The next shout out we gotta give is to the music maestro himself, and that, of course, is CrossPad Creative. Need a new logo or want to work on full branding and content strategy? Or maybe you need music or audio for your content, just like Alter Confusion? CrossPad Creative offers a whole host of solutions for individuals and small businesses. Just email Josh at crosspadcreative@gmail.com and see what he can do for you. And the final shout out we got to give is to the original backer of Alter Confusion. That, of course, is Agile Axiom. By day, Axe leads both the development team and system administration team working with satellites at NASA's Goddard campus. But while not in meetings and many times during, he is the Agile evangelist Agile Axe, championing the philosophy of Agile and trying to make the world a better place for software developers, testers, system admins, and software projects the world over. Decades of experience in software development and leading Agile teams are brought to bear against evil processes, inefficient work, and bad habits. For more information, go to agileaxiom.com. And also remember, he does have a very nicely done book all about the world of Agile. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I know that you are now dying to know, how do I become a friend of Alter Confusion? Well, it's quite simple, my friends. Alter Confusion survives on the love and support of fans like you, and so we have a Patreon page. Patreon lets you, the fans, lovers, haters, demigods, interdimensional beings, gods, demons, aliens, werewolves, mummies, vampires, swamp creatures, supporters, and more to become active participants in the work we love through a monthly membership. This gives you access to exclusive content, community, and insight into our creative process. In exchange, we gain a bit more freedom to do our best work and the stability we need to build an even stronger creative career. We currently have 2 tiers. You have the $1 tier, that's $1 a month, or $12 a year tier, and what that gets you is early access to all of the playthroughs, as well as the ability to participate in patron-only posts. Now, if you're feeling extra frisky and you want to actually be called out and recognized as a friend of the show, you could go to the $5 a month tier. That's $5 a month or $60 a year. Gets you everything at the $1 tier, but also puts your name or organization added to every single friend of the show of the Thursday Night Hangouts. So if you want to become a patron of Alter Confusion, go to Patreon. That's patreon.com/Altered Confusion today. Now, the next thing we got to say is that lords and ladies of the realm, Alter Confusion is proud to say that we have been fundraising for Extra Life for 13 years straight. And I actually got a nice little gift from the Atlanta chapter of Extra Life just recently.
Nice.
Extra Life is gamers doing what they do best, game, to help sick and injured children at their chosen Children's Miracle Network Hospital. The money that we raise through Extra Life will go directly to Children's Healthcare of Atlanta as unrestricted funds, a building that was actually in very recently for an unfortunate reason. This means that the hospital decides where and how to spend the money to ensure the dollars we raise make the biggest impact in the lives of the kids they treat. So if you have the capacity to donate, please go to extra-life.org and search for Altered Confusion today.
Yes.
Now, the unfortunate thing, I will just briefly say that I had to take my son to the hospital 2 weeks ago, and we were at Children's Healthcare of Atlanta, and they treated us very well. So, ta-da.
Nice.
All right. Let's get back into it. The next story we got to talk about is that in the end, ladies and gentlemen, cheaters never prosper. Apparently, a very well-known Call of Duty professional gamer has now been permabanned when it was discovered that he was using illegal tools to help him bolster his abilities in-game.
It sounds like it just needs to do a better job of not getting caught.
Zealeus, we do not support that type of behavior.
Don't you know, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying, sir.
Well, I think that's the college sports philosophy.
Well, I mean, we watch college sports.
Yes, but we're not actually college athletes. We're not the coaches. Anyways, look, if you are going to be a professional for gaming, I'm sorry, but practice makes perfect. And if your skills are slipping, maybe it's time to change to a different game.
I know, man. I just need that little edge that I know I had at one time in my life.
Digital ROIDS.
Yeah. Ooh, digital ROIDS. I like that term.
Yes.
Well, and also, like, I mean, you're playing an online game against people in real life.
Yep.
Like, everything's also there for everyone to tear apart and see exactly what is happening.
Yep. And here's the thing. Because you are probably streaming or broadcasting your screen, and if you have anything that is assisting you illegally, there is always going to be that chance you're going to fuck up and accidentally alt tab and have it featured, which is exactly how I think it was a Counter-Strike Pro like a couple years ago. It turned out that they had some like hack going on in the background that allowed them to shoot through walls and highlight people even if they weren't visible.
Yeah, he was just that good.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. That's exactly it. No. So yes, cheaters never prosper. I do not feel any pity for this individual for getting a permaban for being a professional gamer and utilizing illegal tools.
I mean, athletes cheat all the time and you only get banned for a couple of games.
Unless you gamble. And then you get banned for life.
Well, it depends on what you gamble on.
If you are gambling on your games.
Then yeah, that rarely happens. Right now we're seeing a lot of people gamble on other games and still get banned because they do it at the wrong location.
No, well, apparently there's a new controversy coming out in the NBA. There are certain players who are like the minimum wage guys who know they're never going to be the superstars, so they are placing bets on insane prop bets. Some of them involving themselves, like it's 9-1 odds that this guy doesn't attempt a 3-pointer. So guess what? The guy doesn't attempt a 3-pointer the entire game.
Nice. Yeah, that was like the old, especially was like boxing.
Yeah.
Was notorious for throwing matches for that exact situation. Tennis players before they started actually making money were definitely known quantity. So I also think it's harder to do. I know we're on a tangent now, but I also think it's a bit harder to do in team sports because it's team sports by nature. It's also like somebody throws you the ball a couple of times, you're wide open for a three, you don't take a shot. It's like, you okay, brother?
No. You just pump fake and then you decide to pass it. That's what you do. Or you put your foot on the 3-point line so it counts as a 2. Bastards! This is why I don't gamble. I've only been to a casino once. I came out a winner, and I will rest on that. I will not tempt fate.
You can retire a winner.
Yeah, I can retire a winner. A $416 winner, baby.
Nice.
Okay, so let's talk about something completely out of left field. Since we were already on a tangent, let's go further on a different type of tangent. As many of you know, there is this thing called space. It's right outside our planet's atmosphere. And there is this humongous space station up there called ISS. And from time to time, they dump trash off of that space center, and it usually comes back to Earth. It parachutes, it lands, and then someone has to go, decontaminate it, pick it up, and hopefully dispose of it the correct ways. But who knows? But apparently, during one of their last drops, which was a huge pallet full of dead batteries, some fragments from that pallet apparently left that contained area and came raining down into Florida. And one of the pieces actually went through 2 floors of a house and, from my understanding, landed at the feet of a young boy.
But nobody was hurt in the
Thankfully,
process.
no. If that child was a foot forward, he would have been dead.
Hey, I mean, it is Florida, so you already have hurricanes and alligators and other sketchy things.
And now you got objects falling from space.
Indeed. Now, I'm sure there's a very good scientific reason, but I've always just been like, you know what? Launch your shit at the sun.
I don't think that they would. I think you just create like the world's most epic traffic jam. Because when you're throwing that shit, you got to remember. Okay, we're getting really technical here, but you got to remember that every single thing out there has got a gravitational pull, and when you're shooting that stuff, you got to estimate: is this actually going to hit the sun, or am I going to crash it into a planet?
Well, I mean, they can do the maths to do exactly that. I mean, they just predicted the eclipse that we saw a couple of days ago, like hundreds of years ago. They can do this. They can use math, smart people who can figure out gravitational pulls and that exciting stuff. We should go at the super hot, super nuclear sun.
No.
It's got its own super strong gravitational field, or so I'm told.
Yes. No, speaking of eclipse, did you actually see it, Zealeus?
I was outside, but I didn't have my fancy glasses, so I just saw it get like dusky outside.
No, I did. One child had his glasses, and I did the pinhole trick
Nice.
with 2 note cards. For those who don't know what the pinhole trick is, you get 2 note cards. With one of them, you take like a thumbtack and you go, making this very itty-bitty little hole. Then you hold one card down and then the other card up where the light is coming through the hole and broadcasts onto your first card. And as the eclipse occurs, you can actually see the eclipse on the card.
You didn't have to later Google, why do my eyes hurt?
Yes. Oh, and by the way, for all those people out there who thought that they just caught the most amazing thing on their camera, apparently there is a shit ton of news coming out saying you fucked up your camera lens now if you actually took a picture of the eclipse.
Nice.
So, cell phone manufacturers, I'm assuming that if you are actually anybody out there who is in the stock trade, I think I make a prediction that the cell phone manufacturers are probably going to see an uptick for a little bit as everyone has to replace their phone that took pictures of the eclipse.
So you're saying is we make a prop bet based off of the eclipse affecting the cell phones.
Exactly.
Nice. I think we're on to something.
But yeah. Okay.
No, I did not take a picture of the eclipse, so I did not get to ruin my phone camera.
I took a picture of what was created by the pinhole and not a picture of the actual eclipse.
So both your eyes and your phone's eyes were all protected.
Yeah. Though I will say, because I have children in elementary school, so I had to read up about the stuff because they got to stay home from school for the eclipse right after spring break. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Anyway, and so I got to read up about a lot of information about that stuff. And apparently, if you pay attention, animals act really weird during the eclipse. Certain insects will stop making noises during the eclipse. So, yeah.
Actually, my favorite was actually following the online tracker. Sitting definitely down a rabbit hole. because like the online trackers and they have like the archivals throughout the year, so you can see like how the overlap. And you can actually see like where the Illuminati comes from via the trails of the eclipses.
Just be thankful, because I think in a million years the moon will have moved too far away for us to actually have eclipses anymore.
By then, though, we got like a giant space elevator that's going to grapple onto the moon and get it back in place. So that's all.
We're gonna lasso that bitch and pull it back.
That's what I'm talking about, man.
Well, apparently it's like it moves away like a foot and an inch or an inch or something each year. So eventually the gravitational pull of the Earth will not be enough, and it'll just go off on its own.
So we would also have no tides.
Yeah.
Not either.
We'll have to get a secondary moon. An artificial moon, damn it.
That sounds like an anime.
I'm pretty sure that is.
Because inside the moon, it turns out this is a giant kaiju waiting to destroy us all.
Actually, I think that is an anime. I think that's exactly... The moon is actually an alien egg waiting to be unleashed.
We'll just have to get the Helldivers to go after it.
Yeah. Have you played that anymore?
A little bit. Not as much as I should. I'm back onto Final Fantasy 14. I'm trying to get one of my DPS characters up to level 90 before Dawn Trail officially comes out.
Right on. I actually picked up a game. It was a free game, and it was, as the name suggested, a short adventure. It's called Sheepy, a short adventure. You are a sheep. And I have to say that I enjoyed the shit out of it. I really wish there was more.
I thought you were just going to end that in your sheep.
No. It was okay. But the funny thing is, as anyone who's actually, looked at digital marketplaces can tell you, when you have something that's unique and slightly different and really cool, like Sheepy, a short adventure, you are going to get some dipshit who's going to try to bank off of that name by creating a sheep game where you just have a really piss-poor looking game that you could buy for very, very cheap. And you're just a sheep that just jumps around and I think eats grass or something.
But you get a few hundred or 3,000 people to buy that game by accident, and that's not high profit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So if for anyone out there who's interested, the game is called Sheepy, a short adventure, and it is free on Steam. You do not have to pay for it.
Sheepy, a short adventure.
Was a lot of fun.
Oh.
That's all I have to say.
Very cute.
Anywho. God, I swear that this year has just been like bad news after like depressing news.
But hey, the eclipse was cool at least.
The next story, someone out there knows that I like Dead Space. Dead Space 1 and 2, and apparently there was in the concept stage the makings for remake for Dead Space 2, but it is now according to sources completely dead. Anyone who was working on that conceptual model has moved over to different games. So
yeah, I saw that and I definitely thought of you. I was like, oh, it's gonna be sad.
Dead Space 1 and 2 are phenomenal games, and for them to get a remake of the first one, it was nice to get it up to date, and it would have been nice to see number 2. Hell, it would be nice to see a number 3 where they turn off the fucking lights.
It sounds like a mod waiting to happen.
We call it Nightlight.
The Nightlight night in space.
Dun, dun, dun. But yeah, no. So that apparently is dead. D-E-D, dead. But, yeah. Sad day.
For one of us.
True. One of us, it affects one of us. The other one.
Never played them.
Oh, so I alluded, I made mention of the fact that if you're a patron of Alter Confusion through Patreon, that if you subscribe to the $1 a month, $12 a year tier, you get access to early access to playthroughs.
Yep.
I'm about to post a second
Ooh.
early access playthrough, so those patrons out there will have access to not one, but two early access playthroughs. This other playthrough is for a game called, I want to make sure I get it right. It is called, oh, for God's sakes. My son's been playing games, so it's not the last. It's called Stormhill Mystery, Family Shadows.
That's a quite delightful title.
Yes, and it was interesting. It's really like a point-click adventure ish. I mean, you would probably it plays like a mystery puzzle game that you could have on a mobile device. Where it's basically scenes that there's elements in there that are clickable. You got to find items. You got to combine items to further the story, and then, the big reveal. Ta-da! But yeah.
So, Mr. Point-and-click adventure, then a question for you. Souls-like games seems to go into every genre. So, what would a Souls-like point-and-click adventure game look like?
A Souls-like point-and-click adventure game?
I say it seems to be all the rage. Okay, just make your game Souls-like.
First of all, what up, Nakamoto? Second of all, I guess you would have to time the clicks to interact with the objects at the right time. I don't know.
Extreme. What are they?
Extreme puzzle solver.
Yes. Instead of collect 3, it's now collect 4.
Oh, match 3.
Or match 3, match 4.
No. It'd be like, it would be taking the rhythm games up a notch. It'd be like playing Guitar Hero on Extreme, but for every single puzzle.
I've tried playing rhythm games like on my keyboard and gamepad, and they're just not fun. Like, it's just not the same.
I love music. I know that for the most part I have rhythm, and I'm on the beat, but because of the different type of hardware you have and the different systems and what the systems are going through, there's always going to be an offset, and it takes me so effing long to get the offset correct that unless I really want to play the game, I will give up on that game before it actually gets difficult.
It sounds like a really good excuse to say you suck at video games.
I don't suck at all video games.
Not point-and-click adventure.
Point-and-click adventure, I'm okay at. There are definitely times I will fully admit. Look, as hard as it is for me to admit this, I don't think that there's been a point-click adventure game actually that I've ever played that I haven't at least researched a hint.
Ooh.
I don't think I've ever. Well, I might have gotten like 1 or 2, just pure luck. But the vast majority of my point-click adventure games, there is going to be a time where I will get just too lost, or something won't make sense in my brain. And I'm usually the kind of guy who's always tap dancing outside the box. So sometimes what seems like an easy A to B solution, to me, I don't see it.
It's like the games like Myst or Monkey Island and those games. Like I don't know how you would beat those without some kind of hints.
How about the Island of Dr. Brain? Going way back.
Well, that was also intended for like 12-year-olds, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
but I still needed a hint guide. For those out there who want to know how wait, you said that you were during your entire time playing point-click adventure games, you had to research stuff, but Charlie, you look like you're old enough that the internet would not have been a viable resource. And to that, I tell you, you are correct. There are these things called hint guides that you would have to get. Now, if you want to go super duper old school on the PC, it would be hint guides with that little revealer card that had like the red see-through stuff that would allow you to see just the hint that you want to see.
Yep.
But yes, I love me a good point-click adventure game. But at the same time, I don't like it when the developer gets a little too convoluted with items. Like I was playing a game the other on Tuesday after I beat Sheepy, because I streamed the entire run of Sheepy, and then I switched over to a game called Inspector Waffles.
Inspector Waffles.
You are a cat detective trying to solve a murder case.
Oh.
And their interrogation system, sometimes I was literally just like, I got to the point where I was clicking on everything to see what I needed to do next. Because like, oh, this is not relevant. This is not relevant. Maybe I should ask a different thing. Maybe I should. And so I click on everything. If I couldn't click, if after clicking on everything nothing happened, I would exit the interrogation and then basically drag my mouse over every inch of the screen to see what I haven't clicked on yet, so I can further the interrogation. And that to me is not fun.
Of the mini map, I think it was Mass Effect 2, where you had the planets. You like spin the planets to find the minerals on the planets.
Dude, that was actually fun because that was I got like systematic with that shit.
But like, so that's different to me though. So kind of looking at that. So one thing like Mass Effect 2, where you had that, is I didn't mind it though, because like, I mean, yes, it was an important part of the game, but at the same time, it wasn't like the entire game.
Well, the other thing is you could drop those probes.
Sure. So you knew what you're looking for, or if it was even there. You weren't kind of being like, this planet didn't even have anything.
It's not one of those situations where you're playing a game and you're in an awkward angle and you're trying to pick up an object right next to a character, and every single time you get close enough to that object to pick it up, you accidentally click on the character.
Yes.
God, I hate that.
Yep.
But yeah, no, I played. So I've got the playthrough. I've uploaded it. I just need to give it to those amazing patrons out there. And then I am also I'm gonna go jump on the. Let's see, what was the other game I was gonna try? Game. We're going on like a horror movie kick, kids. The next one is gonna be Black Mirror 1. So be on the lookout for an early access playthrough of Black Mirror 1. I thought about doing Persona 5. But the problem is that there's so much grind in there that I don't know. I can't. If I'm going to do a playthrough, and one of these days I'm going to do like a long running playthrough, but I want it so that I want it to be a game where there's some sort of progression and not you spent 20 minutes watching me do 15 battles just so that I could maybe pick up the item that I'm looking for. That if that I'll just stream. I'm not going to do a playthrough of that.
I can see that.
And that's my 2 cents.
Whatever happened to Persona 5?
So I'm still playing Persona 5. Persona, all the Persona games are so freaking complicated because you have like a bunch of different things that you have to take into effect. One is time. Time is finite. The calendar and clock do advance, so it's not like you can just grind forever. But also, you have to make decisions during certain days of the week in order to power up your academics, your luck, your charm. You have to build relationships with different people, and when you level those up, it gives you extra abilities for that type of persona, because persona is the creatures or monsters or whatever that you fight with. And
Gotcha.
in all the personas, all the characters minus yourself have a single persona, and that persona levels up with the character. But for the main character, you start with one persona, and then you basically allow other personas to enter your heart, and then you brutally fuse the shit out of them to make more powerful personas. That was during those fusing sessions, some of their skills might go to the fused results, and it just gets really, I mean, it's it's potion making, or if you're if you want to do a Zelda, it's the cooking. It's I've got this ingredient and this ingredient. When I combine it, 90% of the time, it's going to create this one. But if I do it in a certain order, it will inherit this skill. But also, you have to take into effect that the persona that you're creating also has a special type. And if you have not met a friend who has that type, you don't get any bonus off of that fuse. However, their personas will basically max level, or they won't max level. They'll keep leveling up, but they won't gain new abilities after a certain point. So you have to fuse them. It's just like, oh my God, it's so stressful.
It sounds super complicated.
So complicated.
I'm stressed out just hearing about it.
So, long story short, I am going to be waiting for. Oh my gosh, I always butcher this name, but I'm going to try for it. Why not? The Euden Chronicle, 100 Heroes.
Okay.
The Kickstarter that I did. I was playing the closed beta for those who kickstarted it. I just got the notification, I think last week, to put in my mailing information so that I get the physical copy. And I know that there's a huge thing that's happening right now with people getting really pissed off because people are having to pay shipping and handling for the game, for their purchases, when apparently way back in the day, in the early days, someone who was running that Kickstarter had said that shipping and handling would be covered by the company, and it's not. It is the Kickstarter, the one who kickstarted, pledged, are having to pay additional fees to actually get your game. Which it's not astronomical. I mean, well, it might be astronomical for certain regions, but for me, it was like $9. So I'm like, oh, shucks. Means I won't be spending those $9 on a mobile game.
But I can also see people being annoyed about if you're promised one thing and then you don't get it is not cool. So it kind of looks like, I mean, I know it's part of the description, but the screenshots and stuff definitely look like a very old school JRPG, collect 100 heroes.
108.
You might be too pissed off.
108.
Oh, that sounds like
Suikoden. Yes, it is a spiritual successor to Suikoden.
I didn't think you're playing Suikoden anymore for that reason.
I will not try to. I am not going to be a completionist. I am not going to try to collect all 108, okay? You sons of bitches. And they're not trying to collect the Stars of Destiny, which is what the 108 are. But from my understanding, it's it plays like Suikoden, which I'm totally fine with. I never had a problem with. It literally was. You just have to. You can collect them if you want to. It's not the only thing that you get a different story. You get the perfect ending, which it depends on what your idea of perfect is. But still, it gives you a slightly different ending if you actually went through all the steps to gain all the people. But if you were missing, let's say, one or more, it was going to give you this one ending. So I gave up being a completionist a long time ago. Suikoden was the reason for it.
It's kind of funny because, like, back in the day, like those days, the only way of seeing those endings was to actually do it yourself, right? It wasn't like you could just go online or get it in a disc from Nintendo Power. It's like, that was really the only way of seeing it. Whereas now, you beat the game, like, you know what? I'm curious what the superior ending looks like. I'm just going to go on YouTube and see it myself.
Yep. Oh, that reminds me. I don't know why I didn't have this story written down. I don't know. Really, I'm confused as to why I didn't have this on my thing. But speaking of getting the best ending, there is a game out there that I beat called Dredge, which is a Lovecraftian fishing game.
Which I've heard good things about.
And I beat the game and then found out afterwards that there's two endings. And I, of course, got like the world is over ending. And apparently there's one that's not the world is over. But news has come out recently that says that there is a Dredge movie in the works, which sounds cool, except now, of course, everyone jokingly said, but you don't fear, it will not be about inventory Tetris.
Yeah.
Because, oh my God, dude,
like every 10 minutes in the movie, it just shoots like, I have to manage my inventory.
Every 5 minutes, they go down into the hole and have to move all the octopi and all the fish around because they're all different shapes to make sure that they can fit everything into the hold so they can sell it when they get back to shore.
That's part of the storyline. You got to include it.
But yeah, no, there's a rumor. It would be interesting. I mean, there is a really good story that's happening in Dredge that definitely is about the ancient ones.
The ancient fish?
Oh no, it's a Cthulhu. Speaking of,
I saw there was a new Cthulhu that's on Kickstarter. It looks like Blame the Train.
Speaking of the ancient ones or monsters and things that crawl at night, I'm currently reading Larry Correa's first book, Monster Hunter International. It's not bad. Not bad.
I just finished a rereading of David Eading's The Belgariad.
Ooh. Now,
the very classic, I am a farmer and I'm now the most powerful person in the world type of book.
I will say that there's a series that Larry Correa has written out. Monster Hunter International is very, very popular, but Son of the Black Sword is also really awesome.
That sounds dark.
Actually, what's the name? That's not the name of the series, is it? I think it's just the name of the first book. Anyways. But yeah, highly recommend you check that one out too.
Nice.
Oh, and by the way, longtime friend of the show and one of Alter Confusion's favorite authors, Kendra Souter, is about to re-release some of her books, so be on the lookout for those.
Very nice.
Indeed. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Unless Zealeus has any closing thoughts?
It is a beautiful day to be alive.
There you go. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to thank everyone for tuning into the Alter Confusion Thursday Night Hangout. For myself, Charlie, and Zealeus, it's been a pleasure getting ready to come our heads, our mouths, and, of course, our hearts. We'll be back next Thursday.
I will not. Oh, yes. Thank you. I will not be here next Thursday. I will be doing robotic things in a far, far land.
Yes. So, I will try my best to have a Thursday hangout. If not, we'll do streaming. But, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in, and we will see you soon.
And remember, kids, keep on giving in the free world.
Amen to that, brother.